Okay, we're going to do something today that stemmed from a visit that I made with a wonderful carver by the name of Alan Goodman. I went to Townsend, Tennessee here but last week, and I visited Gene Webb up in Townsend, who is just a wonderful carver. Got a great shop up there. And I had, for my first time, I had talked to Alan many times, but I hadn't had a chance to visit him, and I got a chance to visit Alan. And it was a wonderful visit. We talked about 4 hours about carving and just other things. And Alan's one of the most down-the-home person you could ever meet. I'll tell you, he just is. He's a great guy. He is interested in people. He is a fantastic carver and now a great knife maker right now. But I wanted to get into doing some roughouts because a lot of beginners do not have bandsaws, and because of that, they live in apartments or things like that, and they don't have access to using those things, or someone cutting their pieces out for them. And I'll tell you what, the ideal thing is a roughout to begin carving with. Now, they're a little bit more expensive than just buying basswood, I admit that, but the work is already done. But it's not, when you have to go buy a bandsaw, get a good bandsaw, run you around $500–600. Well, you can buy a lot of roughouts for that. But a lot of people, now when you go to take a carving class from anyone, this is the thing that you're going to use. You're going to use a roughout. You don't start with a block of wood most of the time. You use a roughout that they have and carve the characters they have. So let's just get off anything about talking about cheating or anything like that. That's just absurd. A roughout is simply used for one reason: to help the carver already have something already blocked out, and then they can have fun with the rest of it and create their own designs or whatever it is. But Alan makes one roughout that I know of, and I found this roughout many years ago, but I didn't know that Alan was the one that made it. And it is to me, it's one of the most all-around roughouts that you can have. Now, a lot of people make roughouts for their specific characters, and that's what they're supposed to do. But I like a roughout that I can also design my own way, and I have found this in Alan's wonderful little roughout here that he has designed. And actually, now this is actually the design that Alan himself started out with, or now this is the way I carved it, okay, but I mean it's similar to Alan's original design that he did. He's just a better carver than I am. And so I carved this figure out of it, in other words. Now, that's originally how the roughout is supposed to look, just like that. But I also took and created this little guy out of it as well. See? And that's why I love this roughout. It is just, you can create so many different things with it. I mean, I bet you could create 15, 16, 20 different characters with it. You really can. And I just love the way it's designed, the feet, the large feet, the tiny legs and stuff like that. And Alan carries these roughouts. You can buy them from him, but this is his own specific design, in other words, of the roughout. And we're going to take it today, and we're going to create another character with it. But I just love the way that roughout is made. And you can put the hands in the pockets, you can broom them out, you can do a number of things with this roughout. And as you can see, if you see both of them together, I mean, it's one roughout with two different entirely characters created out of it. And that's just two characters you can make. Now Alan, he makes several. He makes the little hillbilly, which is originally it's designed for. I've seen him make a Civil War fella out with him, and I've seen him cut the brim of the hat off and use this as a feather and make an Indian out of it. I mean, he's made a number of creations with it, and that's what I like about this certain rough out, because rough outs are made, to me, when you can take one rough out and do many characters with it, it becomes one of my favorites. I'm going to tell you something. And this is one of my favorite rough outs. You can obtain them from Allen. I'm going to be buying more. And while I was up there, I also got to use one of Allen's knives, and we're going to use it today. Great knife. I'm going to tell you, he's making a name as a knife maker, and let me show you this thing. This is one of his knives that he has made, and isn't that a beautiful thing? Isn't that pretty? It's a pretty knife. I'm going to tell you something. Isn't that beautiful? Beautiful handle, and I tell you what, just by stropping it, that blade stays sharp. And we're going to use that knife today, and that's why I want to show you. It's not, folks, it's not the knife. It's the person behind the knife. But I'm going to tell you something. Get a good knife. You know, get you a good knife to use, and this is a good knife. Besides, I'll tell you, if you can get you a knife and a rough out together, and you just get after this carving, I'll tell you. But we're going to carve this rough out. We're going to create another design for it, and we're going to use Allen's knife, and we're going to have a good time today. But I'm going to tell you something. I really, and I'm not pushing Allen, okay? Because even though he's a fantastic guy, I have loved this rough out for years, and you can create so many different characters from it, and it's a ball. I'll tell you what. So God bless you. Now we're going to try to carve, and we'll be right back.